What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. It is like nighttime somehow. It's happening, and that is because it must mean we are moving forward towards autumn, where it's pitch black. I've set up a bunch of lights, so hopefully you guys can still see me. I'm probably not even going to know till I go to edit this video whether or not you can actually see me on screen. But as we move towards autumn, that of course means we'll be moving towards the Autumn International. So I get to do some rugby talking. So this is going to be the first time. We've now had the Wales team announce this Autumn Internationals. It's no longer the Autumn Nations Cup. It's now just back to the Autumn Internationals. It's still run by Amazon. There's a lot of fixtures and what's going on there of what I've got to try and mix up. So we've had the Wales team announce. It's going to be the first time I've ever tried to do one on camera. So we're going to see how we get through. So what I'll do is I'm going to have a quick run through of the team. I've got a little printout here for myself, but for you guys, I'll try and check it up there somewhere. It may well be that I've written it up, or I may well have stolen it from the Twitter graphics that they tend to put up, as I do in most of my videos. So we'll have a run through of the team. We'll see what we think of the team as they're going and who we think will go up to face that first game against New Zealand. So starting out with the forwards. So let's start out with the front row here. So Wyn Jones, Rhodri Jones, Rhys Carré, Ken Owens, Elliot Dee, Ryan Elias, Dylan Lewis, Will Griff-John and Tom Francis. So there's a lot of power in that front row. There's a good selection of caps there, to be honest. There's a lot of boys here that have had a lot of experience time in most of the positions here. I'm feeling quite strong about this. Wyn Jones has had a good Six Nations. He went on to go quite well towards the Lions as well. Ken Owens, of course, in there in terms of the line-out. Normally pretty solid. Had a bit of a shaky Lions, I would say, probably in terms of the line-out towards the end in that final game versus South Africa. But for me personally, I'm definitely picking, I think, both Ken Owens and Elliot Dee ahead of Ryan Elias at the minute. I did see him play for the Scarlets again, and just struggling at the minute. I'm surprised really that he's still going in this Wales team. Maybe they don't have a lot of other options. Ryan Elias hasn't been on form for me for a good few, 12 months, 18 months. Haven't been enjoying Ryan Elias too much at the minute. Tom Francis playing good rugby at the minute. Looking forward to seeing him in there. Bit of a shame to see Nicky Smith in there. I thought he was playing well at the Ospreys. I've actually been able to catch a couple of the Ultimate Rugby Championship games as they've been going on, and I thought Nicky Smith had done pretty well. But it's a tough fight for that front row. But overall, looking pretty strong. Towards the lock department, then, of course, you're never going to not have Alan Wyn Jones in there. He's always going to be on that team sheet. Adam Beard, who I thought had a really good Lions tour after a lot of people were saying, why on earth was he being picked ahead of people like James Ryan, Richie Gray, all these people. He came out, and I think he had a really good tournament, to be fair. I think he's playing good rugby at the minute, and the combination with him and Alan Wyn, I think, will work well. We'll probably see that a lot throughout this. Will Rowlands is a very 50-50 player for me. Definitely has the talent to do very well, but the penalty vacuum that I see for him so much when he's just on the pitch. We saw him play for Dragons the other week, just penalty after penalty being pinned against him. So hopefully he can sort out the sort of temperament in the game a little bit, not giving away so many penalties. It'd be really nice to see him play top form. We saw it in the summer internationals, I think, as well. I actually called that out as well. So many penalties going his way. Hopefully he can sort that out. Ben Carter and Seb Davis in there as well. Seb Davis, I believe, can pretty much play everywhere. From team sheets that I've seen, I think he can play either lock or in flankers, or has even played number 8 on occasion. I wouldn't probably put him there out of everywhere, but he can play a lot of positions, so I think he'll be doing well. And finally, our first debutant here, Chenouza. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of his surname, unfortunately. I don't know a lot about the lad, unfortunately. I did manage to catch a couple of the under-20s Six Nations stuff when it was on. It wasn't a name that leapt out to me, but of course I'm no sort of rugby coach, so they're not going to jump out to me. Have seen a bit of a highlight reel from him. He's looking to play good rugby, so nice to see a young lad getting here. The open side flanker position for the Wales team is not the best at the minute. I believe there's like 6 or 7 key injuries in that department. So looking to try and fill some positions where necessary. Ross Moriarty, if his nose is back in the right place after that game we saw him in with the Dragons, hopefully he can have his nose put back where it needs to be. Thomas Young coming in, hopefully making his debut at some point as well. Tame Basham is playing good rugby. I'm sure he'll be looking to do well. He had a really good summer series, actually. Hopefully you can see a bit more of him. Ellis Jenkins finally getting back in this Wales team. Aaron Wainwright, who's fallen off the scene a little bit. Haven't heard from him for a little while, so hopefully he can get back in that position. Personally, I like him at 6. Pivac keeps wanting to put him in 8. I'm not sure it's working. I really like him in that 6 channel. But even in the Dragons, we see it with Wainwright playing 8 and Moriarty playing 6. I actually much prefer them the other way round. But we'll see how that gets on. And finally, Tulupe Faletau there from Bath, who will, I believe, not be playing in the first game. There's a couple of people that are going to be missing from the New Zealand team. But overall... from the New Zealand game, sorry, not the New Zealand team. They won't be playing for the for the New Zealand team. But overall, it's a strong set of forwards. Not too many uncapped players here. The only ones I really sort of have down here is Will Griff John actually got a cap. I'm not sure. Of course, Chenouza. I'm gonna get his name right. I promise. By the end of this tournament, I will get that name correct, which would be nice. And Tom Young, maybe. Oh, no, Thomas Young actually got a couple of caps. Maybe Thomas Young has a couple of caps, but it certainly will probably be less than 5, I would assume. But there's a lot of experience there, and it's probably going to be necessary going up against teams like New Zealand, who like their forwards packs. Wales are going to need to step up to that as well. Moving on to take a look at the back. So, starting off, Thomas Williams, Gareth Davis, Kieran Hardy. This is pretty much the setup I think they'll be going through to the World Cup with. A lot of people probably going to be annoyed here not to see Rhys Webb. To me, Rhys Webb isn't shining at the minute. I saw him again playing at the Ospreys. There's so many box kicks which aren't leading to anything. So many passes that you just want to see better work from. Kieran Hardy had a good Six Nations. Thomas Williams, I'm looking forward to seeing more from. Gareth Davis, I would actually personally put Gareth Davis as the third choice for me. I would start off with Thomas Williams and Kieran Hardy, then Gareth Davis, but a lot of people have him at first choice, mainly because of the sniping runs and the interception runs he does. That's why he was picked for the Lions over the other two. But for me personally, I'd like to see Thomas Williams get involved there. We did see the mix-up that they had to do with the Cardiff Blues. I think it was the first game of the Ultimate Rugby Championship. There was a bit of a mix-up. People playing in... was it Lloyd Williams had to move to play fly half while Tom Williams played scrum half? There's a lot going on there. But again, experience there. They should be looking good in the scrum half department. 4 picks in the fly half department, though. Gareth Hanscom coming back in. What a nice name to see finally back in after years, it feels like now, out with that massive ACL injury that Gareth Hanscom has, finally making his way back into the Wales team. I think he was going to be the sort of the follow-up to Dan Biggar when he first came on the scene. He was big names coming in. He's going to be the next big thing for Wales. Unfortunately, that massive injury set him back so much. We've also got Rhys Priestland back in. Now, I am not the biggest Rhys Priestland fan, as a lot of friends will know. Watch the videos and stuff. I think Rhys Priestland is very much one of those players who shines at club level, and as soon as he gets to that international level, just struggles so much and always has done. A lot of people seem to be very confident. I know when Gatland had him, Gatland loved trying to play Rhys Priestland as much as possible, even though he had the worst top trumps card ever. I still have top trumps. Rhys Priestland is in there. He was the worst card. I always thought he's shone out as the weak link, and people always targeted him as the weak link, and then the pressure applied to him normally made him mess with a little bit more. I don't know if I ever see him getting to the World Cup another 2 years. He's got to be moving up in the years now a little bit. He's played for a long time, so I'm not sure whether they'll even make the World Cup. Of course, Jared Evans out with an injury, I believe, so maybe he's just sort of filling in. It'd be nice, though, to see if he can get on. And finally, so we've got Dan Biggar and then Callum Sheedy also in there as well. So, both of them are going to be out for the New Zealand game. Their English team's not releasing them for the first game, so maybe he's going to come in there. They have to have a fourth choice. I would hopefully believe that Priestland was the fourth choice there. Personally, I would much rather have Dan Biggar, Callum Sheedy and Gareth Hanscom ahead of him. But we'll see how that pans out. Moving on to the centres. Johnny Williams, Jonathan Davis, Nick Tompkins, Halaholo, and I'm not sure if Ben Thomas actually is a centre. I actually don't know the name too well. 1 cap under Ben Thomas. I'm even trying to reflect on if I've ever seen him. I don't know. Plays for Cardiff. I can't even think if I've seen Ben Thomas play. Unfortunately, that will be a little bit outside my own knowledge there. But as a centre setup here, this is the centre sort of setups I see going towards the World Cup a bit more. Jonathan Davis and Nick Tompkins have a real issue for me at when they try and play at the same time. Both of them to me are outside centres. Pivac forces one of them to play 12. I don't think Jonathan Davis plays well personally at 12. I much prefer to see him at 13. Nick Tompkins flies at 13, and again I think struggles at 12. Halaholo and Johnny Williams both can play inside centre. And also I guess you've got Johnny Williams and Jonathan Davis who also played together at the Scarlets. That could be a combo they'll be looking to see. One name that I'm sad to not see on this team list is Owen Watkins, who I think is playing great rugby at the minute. And again, I think is one of those people who's being missed off a little bit, sort of like Scott Williams was in the Wales team. Never really got that shining start. Owen Watkins we got to see come in the Six Nations and had a superb game. I think he only played one game. I think I was even sort of thinking whether he could get on a Lions tour. He doesn't get onto that. I've seen him play now in the Ultimate Rugby Championship. He's playing brilliantly. Again, I think he's playing superb rugby. I think he can play 12 or 13. I'm not sure you'd pick him in front of. Halaholo's been very good defensively at 12, as well as get himself a try for Cardiff in the last game I saw him in. I would maybe even make a bit of a wild call and say I would maybe pick him ahead of Jonathan Davis. I know that'll be some sacrilege to people. Jonathan Davis, for me, hasn't been top flight recently. A lot of people surprised to not see him go on the Lions tour. I thought it was perfectly valid to not see him on the Lions tour. I don't think he had a good Six Nations, and I don't think he had a very good summer tour either, really. You could say he had one good game against Canada. Canada are struggling at the minute to pretty much everyone, so that's not a lot to say. But hopefully they can step it up. Personally, from here, the combos I want to see Nick Tompkins play a lot more outside centre. I'd like to see more from Johnny Williams. We don't get to see it. He's a very on-the-edge player, has a lot of injuries, unfortunately, for him. But that Nick Tompkins Halaholo or Nick Tompkins Johnny Williams combo, I could definitely see moving towards the World Cup. And to finish off in this back line then, Josh Adams, Owen Lane, really looking forward to see Owen Lane in there, Louis Rees-Zammit, Johnny McNichol and Liam Williams. So a couple of surprise names that some people might not have been expecting to go in here. Johnny McNichol can play either wing really, or also at fullback. I think it's a good pick. He has some very good runs, considering he's only on 5 caps for Wales. I think he's got a lot going for him. I'm really looking forward to see some more from Johnny McNichol. And Owen Lane is a monster. I said this when it came through to the summer internationals. He was not utilised at all. We saw him in that game against Canada. He just mullers people. He's a big guy. He's got to be like 6'2", 6'3". He weighs a lot, but he's also really, really fast. And if you give him room to work with, he will just decimate on a wing. He's a good finisher. I think there's a lot of opportunities for him. Only 4 caps, and I think most of them will have come from the summer. The only thing that annoyed me about that summer tour for Owen Lane was no one gave him the ball. And when he did get the ball, he had about an inch of room to work with before being shut down. You need to get him the ball in room to see him run. Of course, we know how good Josh Adams is, doing very well in that Lions tour, taking, I believe, the record try scorer now for the Lions of all time, in one tour, that is. So, be nice to see him back in there. And, of course, Liam Williams, that reliable fullback. I don't know if Harpenny's back from his injury. I don't know if he'll ever come back from that injury, unfortunately. But, again, another experienced backline when you need it to here, in terms of Rees-Zammit, Liam Williams, Josh Adams. That's a 3 we saw in that Six Nations repeatedly. However, Rees-Zammit, of course, not going to be getting released from Gloucester for that first game either. So, moving on, let's talk about the New Zealand game as the first game. So I actually get to go and attend the New Zealand game. For any of you going down to the Principality, come say hi. If you see me, I'll be the guy who's a little bit overweight in the old-fashioned lucky jersey, because I think they're going to need it, in all honesty, because I think it's going to be a tough game. A lot of big names being missed off through the English clubs not releasing these players. There'll be no Zammit, no Sheedy, no Bigger, no Faletau, no Tom Young. So there's going to be a couple of big names being missed off here, and how that will come back to bite them. I think in terms of scrum half, I imagine Pigger would lead with Gareth Davis over the other two, just from the experience point of view, not having the experienced fly half. Personally, I would want to see Gareth Hanscom start. I feel Rhys Priestland might feel the pressure quite largely if he begins that game. I'd maybe want to see Gareth Davis, Gareth Hanscom starting together there. Moving further back, I think I would probably assume Pivac will go for maybe a Johnny Williams, Jonathan Davis setup. And I would put Jonathan Davis back in that 13 where we'll have the experience. He'll use him as the defensive captain. And then as the back 3, there'll be no Zammit. So I would imagine it may go to Josh Adams, Liam Williams at fullback, and McNichol or Owen Lane on that far right. Personally, I think I'd want to see Owen Lane. I don't know who will take the left wing for New Zealand, but if they put someone, it could be Will Jordan, could be one of the Barretts in there as well. Sevu Reece tends to play right wing, but one thing New Zealand will bring on that left wing, no matter who is picked, is just going to be speed. So I think the best way to counteract speed is to pretty much just put a big boy on. I don't know if any of them are going to particularly outpace them. Zammit could do but won't be playing. Josh Adams could do, but Percy quite like him on that left wing. I would want to see Owen Lane on that wing just to shut down people in terms of some of the big tackles you want to put on players like Will Jordan and so on. In terms of the forwards, we know that they're going to want to go big because New Zealand love to go big. That New Zealand forward pack is looking dangerous at the minute. So for me personally, I'd probably go down the Wyn Jones, Ken Owens and Tom Francis route. I think in that front row, experience over anything just to try and hold that scrum as you can. I think the Adam Beard and Alan Wyn Jones combo will look really nice together. We saw it in the Six Nations. We've seen it in the Lions. I don't think there's any reason to switch that up too much. I think you want to get this in here. In terms of the back row, these boys are going to have some tough games. There'll be no Faletau, no Tom Young, as far as I'm aware, due to club releases and stuff. For me personally, I would want to go for Aaron Wainwright at 6, Tane Basham at 7, and I think I would put Moriarty on at 8. I'm not sure if Ellis Jenkins can play 8. I normally see him in flanker. I'm not sure he could play 8. But Tane Basham's playing good rugby at the minute. I think it's worth having him on just in terms of the jackling and tackling work he does, just to shut down that New Zealand pack. But it's going to be a big game. That game will be coming on the 30th of October in the Principality. Like I said, if you see me, come say hi. I have never really got to go meet people before because it's lockdown and we live in it every time I've done anything to do with rugby. Of course, when we did the prediction videos earlier on a couple of months ago, I did pick New Zealand to win. And now, having seen the team announced, I'm going to stick with that decision because I think it's going to be unlikely this Wales team can put this together. But they are a Six Nations winning team. There's a lot of players missing, a lot of players that can't be released due to club issues. And I think New Zealand are going to come full force for this one. So for me personally, I'm going to guess that New Zealand will be coming full out and probably looking to win this game. But of course, we will be doing the preview videos that we normally do. For anyone who hasn't seen them, that's where we chuck on a game of Rugby 20 in the background of the teams that are going to be playing. And then we talk through the official teams announced after they actually get announced. That'll be coming out sometime next week when the teams actually get announced for that one. So if you want to watch that video, make sure you subscribe to the channel just to keep up to date with all the latest videos as they come out. And if you've enjoyed this video today, make sure to drop it a like. I'm going to try and do these for as many teams as I can. At the minute, I'm only aware of the England team that's been announced as well. I've been on holiday. I haven't kept up with all the rugby news as it's been coming out. But drop this video a like and make sure to check out those videos as they come out as well. But I hope you've all enjoyed today, guys. I hope you're looking forward to see some rugby very, very soon. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.